And welcome to today's webcast for Distributed Republic. The whole point of today's webcast is to explore the impact of decentralization, Web3, the Metaverse, and AI on our social, economic, and political systems. My guest today is the incredible Andrea Abrams.
Thank you so much for having me. I am the founder and CEO of PHYGICODE. PHYGICODE was created initially as a consortium of C-suite leaders in fashion and retail to create a connection between the physical world of these industries and really bridge the gap between academia and projects.
Let's go into our first question, which is, how is Web3 technology disrupting traditional business models in the fashion industry?
I think the disruption it's a work in progress, right? It started when we started talking about smart contracts and tokenization a few years ago. I think it's very disruptive because it's giving us the tools to do things in a way that's more on demand, more sustainable, and far more inclusive. Because before you had to come to New York for New York Fashion Week. Now you can create a pretty extraordinary fashion showcase online that is real time and that is showing the 3D files that actually become the items that you're going to approve for manufacturing.
Next question, which is around XR and AI. So what are those intersections between extended reality and artificial intelligence when it comes to digital fashion?
You know, I think it ties a little bit to what you just said. For me, there are a lot of intersections. So let me start by saying XR is an incredible suite of tools that retail and fashion should be using. Augmented reality alone can really transform how we get people to engage more with the physical product and experiences. So I think a lot of what we're seeing is, if you think about the tools that our audience is using, in XR, for example, computer vision will help apps recognize and understand elements in the environment. So places the virtual elements in the environment and sometimes lets them react to the environment. And so if you think about products and experiences, you think about fashion and you think about the space where you're trying to place something in a fashion presentation. I do believe that with AI assistance, the shopping experience, the interaction will be much easier and much more inclusive.
So let's go on to our next question. What challenge exists in bridging the gap between traditional fashion and the emerging digital fashion trends?
I think one of the biggest challenges is lack of education, right? So you pointed out, if AI is going to displace so many jobs, for example, what are we doing to educate not just the new generations, but all of us who are in the industry today on new tools? I remember when e-commerce became the big disruptor, right? There was a lot of training needed because there was a lot of fear of using the tools.
And I think that was really interesting when we were talking about the training aspect of it, because I think if you were talking to organizations at the inception of the internet, 1992, 1993, and go, hey, would you invest money in infrastructure and training and staff to be able to get online now? Most organizations have been like, yeah, we would have done that earlier. Then social media comes along and we would go, you know what, would you have invested more money in getting a social team and everything up and running? They were, yeah. And now we're telling them, we're like, hey, Web3, Metaverse, AI, XR, AR, these technologies are going to change the consumer experience. Would you want to invest training and infrastructure in it now? And those organizations still haven't recognized the pattern of, they come in, this is going to happen, and we need to be able to do something about it. So our next one is, how can digital culture contribute to the sustainability in the fashion industry?
Well, I think, look, there's two aspects of digital culture. I mean, it's very simple. One, I think there's a lot of creativity that will be just for the avatar economy alone. And I think as we become more involved in virtual worlds, I think the sustainability angle from a couture perspective, as the tools get better, the level and quality of design that can achieve digitally with the full understanding of the materials, with the full understanding of the profile of that creation, of that creator, of that origin, makes it a piece of art. And so I do think there's going to be a lot of advancement in the next 3 to 4 years. I think some of it is going to be advanced by digital-only designers. And some of it, I think you're going to see the legacy brands are recognizing that these tools can really expand what they do.
Amazing. That is such a useful insight. I'm going to go over to some of the comments that we've got, and I'm going to pick out one of the questions that I think is going to be very useful to be able to go for. Is from Nicole, and she says, as an educator, I'm curious, what do you feel are some of the key things that young students should learn in order to thrive in the industry?
Well, I think the students of fashion today are all becoming, because they are aware in their real life of the existence of these tools. I've seen cases of the students actually asking to learn about certain technologies and asking to learn about how to connect them to the things that they're learning. I found that a lot of the students don't want to just learn the traditional path to fashion. But what I think is lacking, and I think some institutions are already focusing on this, is a course on ethics. What is the ethical use of tools? What are the rules of engagement when you have a decentralized ecosystem? So that's, to me, one of the biggest friction points that I would love to see more educators addressing.